Hello guys, and we are back again with another video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and also share with your friends, and also click on the notification bell icon so that any video that I post, you will be the first to get it. Let's just start.
In order to create something perennial, you have to be able to have the power to lift your nose out of the present moment, which is not easy. The question somebody asks is, how do you create something lasting or perennial? Now, I imagine we would focus, let's say, for me it would be easy to focus on a book, but it could be a piece of music, it could be any kind of artwork, it could be a film, or it could be a business, or it could be a political movement of some sort, right? And the thing is, we live in a time of the polar opposite, where nothing lasts. And I often have the joke now when I read the newspaper and they go on about this great artist, this great book, this great musician. I go, in 10 years, no one will have ever even heard of them, right? They'll be like a one-hit wonder. I could go back in the New York Times in 2004, all these articles about these great things people have done. Nobody knows who the hell they are. Sitting behind me is this collection of world books that I had when I was a kid, A through Z. It lists all these things that a child should know. It's like an encyclopedia. 80% of the biographies in there are people you've never even heard of because they're not famous anymore. They're passé, all right? So in order to create something perennial, you have to be able to have the power to lift your nose out of the present moment, which is not easy because we humans, to be honest about it, are conformist creatures by nature. It is the monkey in us. We are imitating what other people do. In the laws of human nature, I analyze that in depth about our conformist tendencies, right? We want to fit into the group. And it's not that we want to fit into the group. We also want to think like other people think like, because if we have thoughts that are strange and different, we feel too different and too weird and we're embarrassed by that. So you have to have the opposite ability where I don't care what the trends of the times are. I don't care what the kind of music people are listening to. I could give a rat's you-know-what about the books that are hot and are being reviewed in these magazines, in these papers, online, etc., etc. In fact, I kind of hate them. And you have to have a bit of hate and anger and disgust in you to be able to create something perennial. Because you want to be able to go, I want something that's deeper than that, bigger than that, right? So I'm not going to be so enmeshed in the trends of the moment. Okay, so that right away is a very, very powerful emotion to have, and it will lift your mind up. Because, you know, one thing that I think about that kind of annoys me about our culture sometimes is there are certain perennial existential situations we all face. The biggest one, of course, is death. Every single human, for the thousands of years that we've had this consciousness, is to deal with their own mortality. Just think of the billions of people that have faced that one by one by one, individual by individual, and all the drama and all the pain and all the suffering that is, right? The other existential situations are loneliness. We all feel lonely, anxiety, etc. These are perennial things about human nature. They're part of our daily experience. But so few cultural items actually address that, right? They're kind of like cartoons. When we depict death in our games and our movies, etc., it's like this cartoon thing where 40 different people are being shot, etc. There's no humanity to it. There's no kind of individual behind each death. So if you think of larger issues, if you think of big human nature type existential dilemmas, problems, pain that humans have had, your work will have that larger kind of framework to it, will have a mythic quality that will transcend the particular moment that you live in. So that I feel when I write my books, I'm always thinking, 100 years from now, what are people going to be like? I have no idea. But I do know what they were like 100 years ago pretty well. I can't say what they'll be like in 100 years. But knowing what they were like 100 years ago, I know that if I write a certain book with certain themes, it will last 100 years from now, because the books from 100 years ago that have these subjects still appeal to me, still have relevance. So I'm able to go, I want people to be reading this book in 100 years. You have to do the same thing. You want to go, I want people to be watching my films, listening to my music, or my business is still thriving in 100 years. That way of thinking will naturally focus you on what are kind of perennial issues, right? Another thing I've done, and I think Ryan talked about this in his book, is when I'm doing the research for my books, I don't read all of the latest things that are going on. I read books from 50, 60, 80, 200, 300, 400 years ago, because they kind of immerse me in these timeless themes about people. So the things that you read, the influences that you have, it's okay to be influenced by books that are, or things coming out now, fine. But you have to expand that to things, to a much wider range of things. So if you're reading or going into material from the past, it will naturally give you a sense of what is classic, of what is timeless in this world. So that's kind of how I would do it, the ability to lift yourself out of the particular moment that you're in.
So we've come to the end of the video, and the title of this video was how to create something that lasts. So I hope you learned something from this video, and I'll catch you again in my next video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and also share with your friends, and also click on the notification bell icon so that any video that I post, you will be the first to get it. Adios amigos, bye.